You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Good morning, Car Clinic affiliates. Your Car Clinic minutes for the week of August 3rd are about to head your way. So go ahead and press that record button. As always, thank you for listening to and broadcasting Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Have a great weekend.
Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. It's a moonless night. The wind's howling. Shadows dance in your garage. But the real mystery is why your car won't start. Not even a click. When I come back, I'll help you solve it.
O'Reilly. When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's the scene of the crime. You turn the ignition key. Nothing. But lights and horn work fine. You check your shift lever. Good, it's in park. But now what? The butler's not the reason for your dead vehicle. It's your neutral safety switch. This device disconnects the starter whenever your car is in gear, so your car doesn't leap forward or backward before you're ready. To solve, jiggle your shift lever back and forth to disengage. Then drive to your mechanic for adjustment. Good job, Sherlock. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Chattanooga has its choo-choo and the Orient its express. But did you know that your car has a train of its very own? When I come back, I'll tell you all about it.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Speeding locomotives have nothing on you. Even energy on Soul Train can't match that of your drivetrain. Okay, enough hinting. Drivetrain refers to all the pieces that together deliver power from engine to wheels. We're talking clutch, torque converter, CV joints, differentials, universal joints, and transmissions. Just like the hip bones connected to the leg bone, all these parts work in concert. And although you don't have to shovel coal to fire them up, like all trains, you do have to schedule maintenance. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Ancient peddlers invented it. Avon ladies made it big. And the high-tech Japanese still do it. If you think door-to-door is passé, when I come back, I'll tell you the latest.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Japan has a reputation for tradition. Even buying cars is done the old-fashioned way, by door-to-door salesmen. But motivated by the recession and consumer demand, dealers are reconstructing their strategy. Nissan plans to open the door to Japan's first large-scale auto mall. And Honda's added a window to the World Wide Web with the introduction of internet-based kiosk. Another tradition breaker? Japan is buying record numbers of American-made parts, opening another door of opportunity. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. In westerns, they wore white hats. In cartoons, they wore bright capes. Heroes may not be as easy to identify in the real world, but when I come back, I'll tell you one place to look.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If I say hero, and you picture John Wayne riding to the rescue on a white horse, switch channels. Some real-life heroes drive to the rescue in their 18-wheelers. These 5 professional truck drivers are finalists in Goodyear's North America Highway Hero Contest. Chris Sackos, Massachusetts. Wayne Carpenter, New Hampshire. Jamie Pritchard, North Carolina. And Michael Asselin and Mark Savary, Canada. These ordinary men exhibited extraordinary bravery during highway crisis, saving lives and property. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us. Hi, I'm Bobby Likis with today's Car Clinic Minute. Wow, what a brain! No, I'm not talking about the class valedictorian or the scarecrow after he reached Oz. This brain's inside your car. When I come back, I'll tell you all about it.
O'Reilly.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Einstein's got nothing on your car's ECM or electronic control module. Like human brains, ECMs gather data from the environment and make adjustments to optimize performance. For example, this onboard computer adapts fuel delivery, seat positions, cabin temperature, braking, and emissions. It also alerts you to potential problems and notifies you for service. Like all brains, your ECM's sensitive to environmental abuse. So follow the Scarecrow's lead. Take your ECM for scheduled service to the service center of your choice. I'm Bobby Likis. Like us, you'll love us.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1 minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
Well, what a special morning this is. Sounds a little loud to me, John. You know, folks, I just couldn't tell you how happy I am to be here this morning for a lot of reasons. We're going to have a couple of guests calling in the second hour, but we've already got three folks on the air right now, including our live motorsports director from WNDB in Daytona Beach, Terry Sabiston. Ralph is on the phone from Texas, and Jonathan, Ralph just got you just hung up on Ralph. That's okay. Ralph can call back. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part this morning by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Folks, designed to meet today's electrical demands on vehicles, Superstart batteries are available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. You can get dependable power and performance for your car, truck, or motorcycle, lawnmower, boat, and more. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today, and their professional parts people will help you find the right battery for your vehicle. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com. O'ReillyAuto.com. I don't know why it's not O'Reilly Auto Parts. It is. Same company. Okay, Jonathan is our illustrious screener this morning, and the number to call immediately is 888-227-12
2546. Let's go. Let's get it started. I'll be back after the break. A 2013 Honda Accord came into shop running rough, stalling, and a check engine light. The vehicle had originally been repaired by another shop. After a thorough diagnosis, we found the vehicle was generating a bad signal from the crankshaft position sensor. This seemed odd as it had just recently been replaced, but the scope doesn't lie. A bad waveform signal needs to be fixed. Our solution? A new crankshaft position sensor from Motorrad. A longtime leader for vehicle thermostats and caps, Motorrad now offers engine management products that are engineered to meet and/or exceed OEM specifications. They're designed to perform under severe operating conditions and are resistant to extreme heat. We made the change, and that fixed the car. Motorrad engine management products are manufactured in Tier 1 OEM facilities with top quality qualifications. They undergo comprehensive 100% in-line and end-of-line testing to ensure uncompromising quality. Learn more about Motorrad engine management products and other Motorrad solutions at motorrad.com. Our inbox has been especially full these past few weeks as people are looking for advice regarding keeping their vehicles road ready. Jim from Dallas wrote, "What can I do to make sure my vehicles are prepared and ready to go?" Jim, the economic impact of the current health crisis has touched every hardworking American. Making your dollar stretch further is more important than ever before. Commuting to grocery stores and other essential outlets has changed the way most Americans drive. Shorter trips and lower operating temperatures can increase the probability of carbon buildup in your vehicle's engine combustion chamber. Look to Berryman products to help maintain optimum performance in MPG. Berryman's intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner is a simple-to-use kit that can truly add fuel economy, better performance, and longevity to your vehicle's engine. Regular use of Berryman B12 fuel system cleaner can assist you in maintaining a clean and healthy fuel injection system. Check out Berryman products' complete line of maintenance and cleaning products designed for do-it-yourselfer and professional technicians alike at berrymanproducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
P-Ricey Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grow. Now you're here, your aroma helps me wake, and the day is mine to take. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with today's broadcast. We're going to go first to Ralph in Texas. He was first up, and then we're going to take a trip to Daytona, and then I'm going to take your calls, or Jonathan is at 888 Car Clinic. Ralph, good morning. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
How you doing this morning?
Fantastic. How about yourself? Appreciate you asking. You've got a 95 Chevy van. Let's talk about it.
Yes, sir. It's that C20. It's the heavy van, and when you first turn it on, it says service engine light comes on. It's a service engine soon light.
Right.
Well, when you crank it, it goes off. Then you drive it a while, and it comes on.
Well, there's a reset for that, Ralph. Unfortunately, you don't reset that with a scanner. If it were a 96 model, it would have the OBD2 onboard diagnostics second generation computer, which is a much more powerful computer, as we'd all know today on cars. But yours had the OBD1 computer. There will be probably a switch in the dash that you won't be able to find. But a shop will have the diagram of the wiring diagram, and it is possible, because it's a 95, depending on the mid-year or what have you, in 94, all the manufacturers started to implement the OBD2 because it was law and mandated in 96, so they all got kind of a head start. An example, a 95 Cadillac had an OBD2 in some of its cars. So they were kind of leading in, in from one era to the next. So all you have to do is just visit a local shop. Actually, they shouldn't even charge you to do that, especially there in Texas. If you have a good connection, which you should have anyway, with the local shop. But the service engine soon light doesn't mean anything is wrong. That is all set by time and or mileage, so you don't have to worry about that. But go reset it anyway, because if you become accustomed to driving a vehicle with a check engine light or a service engine light on, then other things start to come up and you say, oh, that's been on, and you'll think, well, it's okay, it's been that way for a year now, and then sure enough you can have a damage problem. You got it? You understand?
Yeah, I think you keep breaking up on me. I don't know where. Probably me. I live in the country. But
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we don't get good service in the country.
Well, Texas country. Hey, folks.
Yes, I live way in the country.
Hey, yeah. And when you talk about country, hey, listen, Texas is a country. What do you mean?
Bad thing about it is I'm one of them old crazy Vietnam vets, and I don't hear good, and I don't understand real good sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what, at one point in your life you understood and you did real well, and thank you so much for your service. I
appreciate you.
I appreciate
you all the time.
I appreciate you, man. Hey, I love you. I appreciate it, and thank you so much for your service. And again, visit a local shop when you get time. Visit a local shop and have them to reset that light. Yeah, build a reset.
On there? Okay.
There it is.
I will do that.
Okay.
You have a blessed day.
Thank you, Ralph. Right back at you. Okay, folks, let's go from Texas to Florida, to Daytona Beach. Terry Sabiston is the motorsports director for WNDB 1150 News Talk Radio in Daytona. Terry, good morning. Welcome again to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Good morning, Bobby. Glad to be in the house. And I'm still getting over the excitement over that little bring a trailer thing I was watching yesterday.
I'll tell you, I had friends over, Pat and Jean. Diane was at the eye doctor getting an eye issue fixed or at least looked at. And it was so exciting. Folks, what Terry is alluding to is that my beloved Porsche Classic Weissach 1980, I have decided to sell it, and I've talked about that for years. And yesterday was the day, and it has a new owner, Mike B. In Connecticut. And Terry, Mike will be calling me the first out of the chute in the next hour, and also as a double bonus, my cousin, whom I bought the car from in 1985, who bought the car when it had 2,800 miles from its original owner, who never drove it in the rain. I never figured out why, but I think he was just afraid I think he was so terrified that somebody would damage the car that he sold it. So anyway, both Mike Brown and my cousin, whom I bought the car from in 85, are going to be joining me live on air, so make sure you tune in at the first segment of next hour. But anyway, so was it exciting from your end?
Bobby, I felt like I was part of it. I've been following this all week long. I've known about this car for a long time. I've never seen anything like a restoration that you had online for this and what you've done. In the world, I've never seen the quality of it, and that's why you are the guy that should work on somebody's car, because look what you've done with your own, and you've done that for your whole career. Now you're stepping back from that, but you showed what you are and what you do all in that car.
Well,
it was an emotional experience to be part of it and know what you were going through at the same time.
It was an emotional spirit, both for me and my daughter wrote a poem to me last night that brought great tears to my eyes, and just about the history, because that car, 35 years. I mean. There's a lot of my great friends that haven't been in my life for 35 years. I mean, we've been on the air for 28 years, and I had that car before we ever went on the air. But anyway, I really appreciate your comments, folks. This gentleman and there's a comment section, and for those of you not familiar, bringatrailer.com is a place where you pay a token, and they put your car on their site, bringatrailer.com, for 7 days. And that people can log in and register, which is free, and make comments. And we had, I don't know how many, we had 100 and some odd, 200 comments, and I addressed each and every comment. And whenever someone would ask about, anyway, long story short, it was a fantastic event. It was a fantastic experience. I felt like I would feel like I've lost something, except that Mike Brown called me from Connecticut and talked after the auction. He's the one that won the car. And he's going to come down to Pensacola face to face. He's going to have the car, trailered in an enclosed trailer back to Connecticut. But he's going to come down face to face and meet me, and wants me to give him an indoctrination and drive the car. And I'll tell you, I can't wait. He's just really a neat guy, and I have such a great deal of respect for him. And ironically, Terry, and you'll hear this next hour, this is the first time he's ever bought a used car online. And I didn't really understand. I thought he would be there because he had on the side sent me emails, and one email took me an hour and a half to answer because it had line item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It had like 20 questions. And so I knew that he was very interested, but he didn't get into the bidding until the last part. He made a bid early on, but he didn't get into the bidding until the last part. And of all the people, and I don't know those other people, but of all the people that wanted the car, I wanted Mike to get it because he asked the right questions. And then finally, I'll let this go, and we got other calls, but finally, he asked the two final questions. Aesthetically, if you bought this car and you were me, what would you do to it aesthetically, and what would you do to it mechanically? Well, that's a loaded question because the car was all ready to go, but it wasn't a loaded question at all. Aesthetically, I told him I would probably paint the center of the wheels because they were original 40-year-old wheels, and I left them virgin. They're painted, but the paint's faded. I left them as they look because they are original on the car, and I thought that it would be more powerful and more telling and more demonstrative if the car had its own original anodized aluminum wheels with the Palomino center painted. Anyway, that was it. It was fun. It was fun. It was exciting. It was nerve-wracking.
Well, Bobby, that was what the fun part of it was, but also, it's going to a good owner. But real quick, I want to shift gears over to maybe a little bit of Daytona International Speedway and give it a heads up. We've got racing coming 2 weeks and then in 4 weeks.
Well,
Daytona International Speedway is bringing NASCAR in here over the next month. 2 races in about a 16-day period.
Really? Well, we have about 50 seconds before the break, but give us an overview quickly, if you would.
Well, they're doing the road course race. It was supposed to run in Mid-Ohio, or not Mid-Ohio, up in New York at Watkins Glen, and due to COVID-19, they're running it here at Daytona. And this week they announced they're adding an extra chicane coming out of Turn 4, so that you can't come all the way around from the backstretch chicane all the way into Turn 1. You got to slow down there in Turn 4. And then at the end, think about that. They're going to slow down for that chicane, and they got about a quarter-mile dash to the finish line. So it's going to be an exciting race. They're going to have the ARCA Series, the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series and Cup Series, the 15th and 16th. And then 2 weeks later, we got the Coke 0400 coming up with all of that fun. So a lot going on at Daytona National Speedway over the next month. And we'll touch base with you over the next month.
Thank you, Terry. And thanks for supporting me on Bring a Trailer. And as always, and then, heartbreak, I'll come back. Thank you, Terry, so much. We'll be back, folks, after the break.
Coolant leaks are never fun, but they can be especially challenging if you're far from home and repair shops are closed, like many right now. It pays to be prepared. Keep an emergency road kit in your vehicle, and inside should be a number of items, including K-Seal. K-Seal is a pour-in solution that helps stop cooling system leaks. It features ceramic technology designed to repair the leak without clogging. K-Seal is available nationwide at parts stores like Napa Auto Parts. Check NapaOnline.com for store hours and shipping options. That's K-Seal. Don't just seal it, K-Seal it.
it. As we kick off National Car Care Month in the midst of COVID-19, making sure your vehicle is road ready has never been more important. The Car Care Council remind you it's the perfect time for a thorough check of various vehicle maintenance items like brakes, batteries, tires, cooling system, filters, headlights, and the exhaust system. Visit carcare.org to find out how you can best keep your vehicle safe and dependable. It's National Car Care Month. Are you car care aware? Learn more at carcare.org. That's carcare.org. This car repair spotlight brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. This week, a 2009 RX 350 Lexus came in with 85,000 miles and a loud noise in the front suspension. Now, a lot of noise-related repairs can be difficult to pinpoint, but this one was easy. Left front strut locked in the upright position, causing a banging noise even over the slightest bump. Solution? Replace all struts. We called our local O'Reilly Auto Parts professional and ordered 4 new strut assemblies and also made the decision to buy Master Pro brand, which has performed really well for our previous repairs. We also performed our pre-repair brake fluid procedure while we had the wheels off to save our customer possible caliper issues later on. A 4-wheel alignment and balancing all tires made this 10-year-old Lexus drive as new. Our service team was happy, our customer was happier, and we know we made another great choice by collaborating with our local O'Reilly Auto Parts professional. That's why we make O'Reilly Auto Parts our first call. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
The airlines like to have sales. Summer getaway sales, holiday sales, winter sales. Truth is, at any moment, some airline somewhere is on sale with low fares to great destinations. Travelocity knows exactly what's going on, who's on sale, to where, and when, at over 700 airlines worldwide. We even have this nifty feature that lets you look at a calendar so that you can see exactly the days the great fares are available. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere. AOL keyword, travel.
Hun, guess my temperature.
It's 2 a.m. Go to sleep.
Come on, one guess.
98.
Higher.
Higher, 99.
You're getting warmer. Wait, I'm getting warmer.
Cold symptoms keeping you from getting a good night's sleep? Get NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever so you can sleep better to feel better medicine. Use as directed.
One more guess.
100?
Yes. Tell her what she's won, Bob.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. 888 Car Clinic is the number, folks, and phones are loading up. So do call in early now versus later on in the program. 888-227-2546. Let's go to Georgia. Ed, Atlanta, Georgia. Ed, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. How you doing, my friend?
Top of the morning to you, Bobby. Man, I want to tell you, old-timers like me like to stroll down memory lane, and I was thinking about the I have a question in regard to oil.
Okay.
First of all, the recycled oil, and also the new oil, how it's made, process it's made. But I remember, and you may be old enough to remember as a kid, seeing the old at the gas station wire rack out there with bottles of all things, glass bottles with oil that had a metal funnel type top on it, and that was recycled oil that they sold. So I don't know if the process for that, if that's not feasible to sell it retail anymore, or what happens to the oil that's taken out of your car. Most people just ride on down the road, but my mind thinks, well, what happens to that oil that's collected? And then my current question, I saw an ad for Pensol that said that their oil was made from natural gas instead of crude. So is that something new, or is this are the other oils that are made from natural gas also?
Well, those are great questions, Ed. And first, let's talk about the recycled oil, because at one time in my life, I used to buy gasoline. I had a 50 model Mercury, and I always wanted that Mercury, and my dad bought me one. And I and my teenage buddies used to go around Birmingham, Alabama, and we would scrape up 30 cents, and we would stop and buy 30 cents worth of gas. And that would get us. And we always took a route if we were going from point A to point B, where we knew there was a gas station, so that when we ran out, you could push it, not have to push it. The true story. Anyway, so that car used a lot of oil, and I bought recycled oil. So recycled oil doesn't go bad. I mean, let's face it, oil gets contaminated. It becomes toxic with leftover combustion that doesn't burn. Gasoline crude is really, there's toluene and other chemicals, and there's 1,000 chemicals in gasoline, 1,000. So I can't remember or begin to remember all of them. But I'll just say this: gasoline is pretty dirty stuff. The oil that comes out of an engine is also toxic. 1 quart of oil poured in the ground will contaminate 250,000 gallons of gasoline. So when you have DIYers that pour their oil in their backyard or in some gutter, that's really, really terrible. And you catch those folks, they deserve whatever fines that are levied. Having said that, oil doesn't go bad. So what the recyclers do, because we sell in all shops, sell the old oil. I mean, by law, you have to sign off, and the EPA monitors that, and all of the government mandates. So no shop. We have disposals. That's what disposal fees are for, because we sell it, or if it, depending on the volume of oil or supply and demand, we pay them to take it away. But the bottom line is them, and these are certified companies that recycle oil, and they come and they pump it out. Having said that, that oil then is taken to a refinery and is run through a filtering process, and then all that's left on the other end is oil. Now, all of the additive packages have been stripped out of it, are used up in the engines. So what has to be done, you could take the old oil that's refined and put it through enough filtration, and then put additive packages back in it, and for all intents and purposes, it would be as good as the regular oil that we use, because the oil that we use, approximately 75 to 80% of a quart of oil is the base stock. So when you hear me talk about Royal Purple or castor oil or Valvoline or Shell, all of the oils, all those oils use the same base stock. What they do differently is the additive package, which is man-made, and that's the chemistry, and that's where the real delicacy comes in. It's like baking a cake. You bake one cake, you got flour and whatever it is that you put in cakes and water. That's about all I know about cakes. But it is the quality of the ingredients that make the difference in oils. So recycled oil is a big business. Of course, recycled batteries, that's the number one recycled item in the United States. Getting back, let's move forward. In 2004, you ask if the motor oil from natural gas is new. In 2014, the Shell Corporation announced the creation of what they called at that time a first of its kind base oil made from natural gas, and which is the cleanest burning fossil fuel. But now, I won't get into this, but there's no such thing as fossil fuel. Fossil that's incorrect, and we could do a whole show on that. Oil is not from fossils, as everybody in the world thinks. It is not. But let's move forward. What Shell called theirs was Pure Plus, and that was a technology, Pure Plus technology, and it was trademarked because it was a patented process of converting natural gas into a clear base oil, which is the main component in motor oils. And to that end, Ed and everyone tuned in, when oil is refined, it's all clear. Coloring is added to oil because if you, and of course that's kind of a opposite of the natural gas to oil liquids, but oil is colorless. So color is added to oil depending on the on the brand. And in fact, it took Royal Purple 13 years before they could ever get their a trademark for their oil, which was purple. and they did that. It was cake dye, it's cake coloring, purple dye is what it was. Now let's move on. The Shell Pure Plus technology, Ed, is being used to create motor oils that offer the same protection to engines. And Pennzoil Platinum, which, as I understand, they've quit using that. Pennzoil quit using that platinum commercial advertising. Not sure why. I think maybe there may be some infringement, because it was Shell in 14 that announced the creation of that liquid technology. GTL it's called. And as I remember, there was a Dr. Dixon, Richard Dixon, who was the Shell North American Motor Oil Technology Manager, that talked about the technology of GTL, natural gas to liquids process. It dates back to 1970s. So, and then they took that technology, and then ultimately that's how they created the Shell Pure Plus base oil, which has been in large-scale commercial development since 2011, actually, but 2014 is when they really announced it. So at that time, they were the only manufacturer. And again, the Shell Pure Plus base oil is crystal clear. And if I can quote them, they would say, due to having fewer of the oil impurities found in crude. Well, I'm sure that when you convert a gas to a liquid, and there's a technology for that, so that answers your question. But it was Shell that really founded it. It was founded in 1970s. I think the process probably took longer and cost more. I don't say probably. You look at everything that has to do with oils, and it's all about the dollars. Follow the money, they say. So I think that process was more expensive and time-consuming than to take the crude. And as you know, or may not know, during the cracking of crude, you get mineral spirits, you get naphtha, you get other light oils. That's called the lighter chain that cracks off the oil, and ultimately you end up having a clear-based crude oil that's refined. And here's the difference between regular conventional oil and synthetic, and this is noteworthy, folks. The conventional oil is a hodgepodge of different sized molecules oil, whereas synthetic oil, the base stock, is all same size. And I've said this before on air, and I'll do it again not to be repetitive, but it's very graphic. If I took a basket of fruit and put cherries and tomato and oranges and a watermelon, and I tried to pour that fruit out of that basket, it would go click, 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 clump, clump, and it wouldn't pour evenly. If I put all cherries, they would flow uniformly. If I put all apples, same thing. So synthetic oil molecules are all same size, and that's why in cold weather, when you fire an engine up, a synthetic oil will flow faster and quicker through the veins of the engine to reach the far regions of the engine to prevent engine damage in cold weather. And also it's more uniform, so it's less drag on the starter, so that in cold North Dakota, that could ruin a starter, and that's why they use the heaters and those sorts of things. So anyway, kind of a long question or long answer, but does that bring you up on a knowledge level better?
Yes, Professor Bobby at work, his dissertation this morning on oil. That's great. And I still want your staff to put together the sounds of Bobby Likis. You always provide. That makes my day when you add a sound, because usually that's what the customer is bringing to you. My car is going with some weird sound, but you're the only person in the business that uses sounds that I know.
Okay, well, that's because I've heard all the sounds, been there and done that, and what the insurance company, that I love that actor that plays that. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, and Farmers
Right.
Insurance. I really like that, where they got the antelope that breaks the windshield, you know, and a lot of wild things, and I think that's really done well. And I enjoy watching, and I don't enjoy much about insurance companies, but and I have a good reason for that. But I do enjoy the farmers insurance. Hey Ed, always great to hear from you.
There's a book. You can write a book, Bobby. That's something you can do when you step away. You can write a book about that.
Well, that's an idea. We talked about that. Ed, thanks for calling. Got a hard break. I see that Tim Scott is on the air. Barbara with a Buick, and your calls at 888-227-2546 when I come back. Spring has sprung and summer's around the corner. We're all hoping for a return to some normalcy, which means road trips to the beach, the lake, grandma's house, and other favorite vacation spots. A little preventive vehicle maintenance now will help you avoid trouble ahead. Visit carcare.org to find out how you can best keep your vehicle safe, dependable, and roadworthy. While you're there, order your copy of the free Car Care Guide for your glove box. Go to carcare.org. That's carcare.org. Bobby Likis here. When you have rusty nuts and bolts, use PB Blaster. Of course, sometimes you end up spraying more than you need. Well, not anymore. Blaster's new Pro Straw with Control Flow technology is a better way to spray with a new flip-up clear plastic straw and a cool volume adjuster to control the flow from a wide spray down to just a drop. It's more precision and less mess, and no one else has it. Look for the new Blaster Pro Straw on cans of PB Blaster and Multimax synthetic lubricant. Always use Blaster products and work it like a pro.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Waking up can be a chore, but mornings knocking on my front door. Know just what I'll do. Put on a pot of Folgers brew. Mountain grown aroma hits the spot. Helps me give all that I've got. An opportunity to start out smiling and happy. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
I'm privileged to be involved with Capstone Adaptive Learning, formerly known as United Cerebral Palsy, for over 25 years. Since 1953, Capstone has provided quality care programs for persons with developmental disabilities like autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and intellectual disabilities. Dr. Sherry White with her team are dedicated to Capstone's clients, and 100% of your contributions stay local to serve those in this community. Go to capstoneadaptivelearning.org to see the difference Capstone makes.
Technology moves at the speed of innovation, and today, that's lightning fast. So when you get your hands on the latest tech, don't forget to do the right thing with your old devices. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old tech device as easy as purchasing new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the responsible recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find lots of tips to simplify your recycling, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Television sets, video game consoles, smartphones, tablets, they're all recyclable. Don't let them clog up your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org. You're sharp enough to get the latest tech tools into your home. Now be responsible enough to get your old devices to the recycler. That's greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you join us. Remember, every Saturday from 10 till noon, we come to you from the center of the automotive universe. Folks, you need to make sure your car is road ready during these uncertain times. And Bobby Likis Car Clinic, one of our partners, and brought to you in part by Motorrad. Motorrad should be your first choice for vehicle thermostats, cabs, and engine management products. Those products are like variable valve timing solenoids, throttle position sensors, crank sensors, those sorts of electronics, because they do an outstanding job, Motorrad. You can learn more about Motorrad where? At motorrad.com. Check it out, motorrad.com. Now, it's time to find out what the gas prices are. So I'm going to share with you the national gas price, and then we're going to join us online from Alamogordo, New Mexico. It's going to be Tim Scott. The gas prices today, this week, average nationally are $2.17.5. The highest gas price is on the West Coast at $2.82, and with the exception of two areas, which is the West Coast and the Rocky Mountain, if you compare today's gas price to last week's gas price, the price has dropped. And nationally, annually, if you look at the same time last year, every region, the gas prices are lower. Let's go to New Mexico. Tim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you back.
Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir.
Before I say the prices, you sound like you're about ready to come out of your skin. You're so excited today. We can hear it in your voice.
Well, I was so excited yesterday because after 3 years of making excuses, and then the last 11 months, I was going to get my Porsche ready to put auction on Bring a Trailer, and so I would go out and I would try to find things wrong with it so that I could honestly say this is, be transparent, which is my choice. And so 11 months later, and a lot of thousands of dollars later, not counting my time, the Porsche got better and better. And finally, Diane says, "You're stalling." And then out of a blue, John Erickson and Georgine, two of my best friends, John says, "Hey, when are you gonna put the Porsche on Bring a Trailer? When are you gonna?" I said, "Oh, I only have one more thing." He looked at me and he says, "Don't tell me that." He said, "You're just stalling. You don't want to sell it." Well, yeah, no, I didn't want to sell it, but because of the room, I no longer have a place to keep it. It is really the reason that it's gone. And yesterday at 4:05 p.m. Central Time, the auction ended. And every time when it gets down to 2 minutes or 1 minute, there's a broadcast line on bringatrailer.com, and the clock runs down and it goes yellow for a minute, and then when it hits at 2 minutes and at 1 minute it goes red. And every time somebody puts in another bid, when that red line, it throws 2 minutes back on the so it was like it ended at 05, but it was like 2:12 or 2:15 before it really ended. And my brother was texting me. He lives in Birmingham. My daughter lives in Virginia. Her husband with FEMA in D.C. My daughter kept texting me, "What is with this clock? They keep adding time." I said, "Yeah, every time a new bid comes in, then the bar goes back up." So I'm still excited about that, and I'll tell you why I'm excited. Number one, the buyer. The bidder finally paid almost $5,000 more than my reserve and my hard number, and that to me proved that it was worthy. I mean, we all need the money and all like the money, but it would prove to me it was worthy. But equally or more importantly, the man that bought the car was Mike Brown in Connecticut. He's going to be calling in the second hour. So, folks, you got to listen. And this man's never bought a car online, never bought a used car. And I don't know. I just knew that he was going to buy it. I didn't know it because he sent me on the side an email that was 2 pages long with questions. And I laboriously went through everything. So yeah, I am excited, and thanks for listening to all that, folks. But Tim, so I'll turn the mic back to you now. So
So today's prices in Alamogordo, New Mexico, is down from last week, which was $171 last week. Now it's $167.
Well, it's down in every place except two. In the Rocky Mountains and the West Coast is up. Well, I say it's up 0.008 and 0.006, so it's less than a penny up. But they are up from last week. But everywhere else, including last year, the price of oil, the price of gasoline is down. And as I said, the national average. Let's see what the lowest price is. The lowest price is lower at Gulf Coast, right here, $1.85.6. What was your number? 168.
167.
167. If we were 5 years ago, I would say, folks, you better go fill up your tank because you can't hold gas that long. But you better go fill your tanks up and get this gas while it's cheap. But you know what? I'm not worried any longer that it's not going to be cheap. Number one, we are producing oil like never before. And number two, electric vehicles will be and are a factor in the future of automobiles. And I always felt that EVs would be a single, a vertical, like a niche market. I now believe that that's going to be forever pushing the oil burners out. And I'm not against the ICEs, internal combustion engines. I love that V8 sound. And when I buy my next car, which may be a 2021 Jag XJ EV, if it looks anything like the concept, I will still add to that car guttural V8 sounds, even though it will be EV, and I can do that. So there you have it. So were you on the road this week, folks? This gentleman delivers cars for a living for used cars and new cars. Any trips this week?
Yes, two of them. Monday I went to Clovis, New Mexico, and then Wednesday I went to El Paso to pick up a vehicle that customer wanted it raised, and big tires and wheels and suspension, and the dealer doesn't do that here. So pretty quiet week.
Yeah. What do you think about it? What's your personal opinion of raising those vehicles, lift kits?
I've delivered and picked up several, the same vehicle. Usually take it down, pick it up a week later. I'm not a fan. Most of the time, it rides too rough for me.
Yeah.
A stock Jeep generally, or a Toyota, rides fairly well compared to a street car.
Right.
But afterwards, I'm not a fan of how it rides, but I think most of the guys that raise them don't ride much on the street anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, to me, and then we'll move on. But I'm sitting at a traffic light. I'm waiting for the light to change, and I'm listening to my radio and music, and I love music, and all of a sudden I hear that, and it's a Ford diesel, and before the engine, I could hear the engine, I could hear the truck coming up, knobby tires, and I look over, and I swear, and my eyesight, sitting up in my seat, just saw the top of the front tire. That's how high this truck was. And I looked up, and it's like, and I feel like, I wonder sometimes if those guys driving those vehicles don't think that they're sitting on top of the world. And I guess that's one of the things. Hey, different strokes for different folks, but not my nickel.
Not mine either.
No. Hey, look, thanks so much. I did sell my Porsche on Bring a Trailer, and it was very exciting. And the buyer's going to call in the first of next hour. And also, as a bonus, my cousin from Tallahassee, Florida, who owned that car, bought it at 2,800 miles from its original purchaser, and sold it to me with $45,000 when he bought his new turbo. He'll be calling in. I'm going to have both those guys on the air at the same time. It's kind of like a family reunion, and we're welcoming Mike to the family. And I'm delighted that Mike is going to bought my car, because he sounds like a really neat guy. So tune in the next hour. And Tim, always great to hear from you from Alamogordo.
Yes, sir. Everybody have a good week, and I'll talk to you next week.
Cool. Thanks, Tim. Okay, let's
Thank
go
you.
to
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go to Florida. Barbara, thank you so much for holding. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Bobby. How are you?
I'm just really up and at 'em, and it's great. Jonathan says on the screen you've got an '89 Buick, front window won't roll up. Tell me about it.
I have it up halfway. I had the car painted, and when they painted it, they didn't get the driver's side window crank on right, and I've been just putting it on there and winding up and down. And I'm not able to put the window up right now because the crank that I have keeps slipping. And I don't have much hope in getting another one today, but it's going to rain. So I'd like to have somebody take handle off one of the other doors and put it on that door.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
But I don't know how to do that.
Okay, there's a. I'm surprised you don't have power windows, but obviously you don't. So here's what you do. You go to a shop, and they have a blade. Imagine a flat. Imagine a flat scraper. Like a paint scraper.
Yes.
And then that paint scraper, if you were to cut a slot out of the middle, you'd have like a fork, but with only two tines. They would be flat, but they would be two tines, shaped like a U, right? Well, what we do is we go in. That goes in between the door panel and the crank, and pushes on a clip, and pushes that clip out, and then the door handle pops off. So any trim shop or any service shop can do that for you, and they shouldn't charge you a dime. And what I would recommend, if the rears are the same, I would recommend leaving the rear up, and of course put it up, and then take a handle off the rear and put on your front door, and that way you could have both front doors at work in case you had people riding with you. So that's what I would do, and that should be an easy fix, and they better not charge you. You tell them, wherever you go there, you tell them that Bobby Likis said that they would take the handle off one door and put it on there and not charge you, and they'll do it. I mean, that's just it's a nit, but if you don't know how and you don't have the right tool, you'd have to break it to get it off, and you still wouldn't get it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And
Thanks.
You're a wonderful day, and I'm glad you sold your car.
I almost am too.
Almost.
I had it 35
Okay.
years. Barbara, I've had the car 35 years. And so,
Yes.
so I just, but yeah, I'm glad it's got a new home, and I got a fair price for it, and but it's got a new owner that's going to keep it in a garage, and I just Googled his address, and he's got a really nice home in Connecticut, by the way, almost 5,000 square feet. So he better have a really great garage. Hey, thank you, Miss Barbara, and thanks for calling.
I thank you very much, Bobby. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well. Folks, Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by Blaster Corporation. You remember, PB Blaster. Don't bust your knuckles when you have something that's rusted. Bust the nuts with PB Blaster, which is the #1 blaster, is the #1 penetrant for breaking free rusted parts. Remember that word, penetrant. You think of oil and you think of lubricant. And I learned this from the Blaster Corp. A penetrant penetrates and goes into those nooks and crannies that are rusted together, whereas oil just lubricates the surface. I never really thought about that. Here I am supposed to know all this stuff about cars, and I learned from our partner sponsor, Blaster. So for more information about all their great products, and they do have a suite of great products. Garage door, that's what I used recently. Garage door opener lubricant, dry lube, which is great for a squeaky window where you want to, in your car, if it goes up, it lubricates that felt lining, the channel, without getting grease and stuff all over the window. You spray it in the channel. It's a dry lube, silicone based. Great. PB Blaster, the Blaster Corporation. Go to Blaster Corp. That's blastercorp.com for all the information and for more information about our great partners there, Blaster. Let's see what else. Okay, so recently, in fact, last week, Guy Larrabee, he's from Montreal, and a Watch Bobby Live listener, reached out to me, and I said hello. Well, today he's back in. He says, question for you, Bobby. My Snowbird vehicle needs brakes. What is the advantage of new rotors versus resurfaced? How much money could I expect to pay for resurfacing if the rotor thickness is good? And what he means by that, if his rotors can be machined, should he machine them or should he buy new ones? If the rotors can be machined and still be within the government-mandated stamping thickness, then by all means, have the rotors machined. As far as the price-wise, there's a big variable there, but whatever you do, have the brakes replaced and machined by a shop that doesn't do pad slap. And folks, pad slap is when you see an advertisement of a brake for like $50, and all they do is take bolts off, slap a set of pads, and put it back on. It's the worst thing in the world, and we call it in the industry pad slap. Better to pay a good price for a brake job, which would cost you a couple of $100, maybe $250, and have the brake rotors machined. So I hope that answers your question, Guy. I would tell you more, except the producer's playing that record. I gotta go. Next hour coming up. Don't miss it. Like us, you'll love us.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Folks, here's a great story for you. One of our listeners had to fly from Oregon to Maine to pick up his daughter and drive back home across country. She had an older Trailblazer that was not particularly well maintained. They rented a U-Haul, packed everything, and began the trek home. Shortly into the trip, the engine began to run hot due to a leaking radiator. The initial thought was, of course, to find a local shop that could help, but with shelter-in-place orders all around the country, that was difficult. They did find an auto parts store and purchased a bottle of K-Seal along with some coolant. K-Seal stopped the leak, and they finished their trip without any additional coolant leakage. Now, more than ever, it really pays to be prepared. Maintain an emergency road kit and be sure to include, among other items, a bottle of K-Seal. You can find K-Seal at fine parts stores nationwide, like Advance Auto Parts, and you can check the store website for hours and shipping information. And remember, if you have a coolant leak, don't seal it, K-Seal it. And remember, if you have a cooling system leak, don't just seal it, K-Seal it. For more information, go to kseal.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
If you're familiar with the Kulsiford section of the newspaper, you probably understand this message quite well. You see, in the Kulsiford section, everything gets abbreviated. Consonants, vowels, prepositional phrases, the very building blocks of our language are thrown right out the window. And that makes it difficult when you're trying to sell your car. You've got a limited amount of space to work with, and by the time you abbreviate the description of your car down to a couple of fragmented sentences, it sounds less like a car and more like a bulk sedan with sniffed like new condition lemals. No wonder more people are selling their cars through eBay Motors. They can post unlimited text and photo descriptions, and with a nationwide marketplace, they're likely to sell it for more. Plus, both parties can be covered by eBay's vehicle protection program. Buyers are happy, sellers are happy, and no one's abbreviating. eBay Motors, a better way to sell your car.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 3-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Bobby Likis Car Clinic begins at 6 minutes after the hour. Countdown to 1-minute mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 30-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Countdown to 10-second mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And here we go again. Welcome to this hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Delighted to have you join me this morning. And I would remind you that it's much easier and better if you'll call in earlier versus later, because toward the end of this hour, which is the second hour of today's broadcast, we get so many calls that I just don't have time to properly address your question. And, you know, a lot of times people say, well, you run on, you talk a lot. Well, the bottom line is that there's no yes or no answer in automotive industry, darn near in any industry. And I'll give you an example. Should I use synthetic oil and pay the extra money or use conventional motor oil? Well, the answer depends. It depends on a lot of factors: the age of your car, the mileage you drive a year, the climate, the weather conditions, So all of those things require, in my nickel and yours, your dollars require more time, so that's why I am verbose at times, because there's not a yes and no answer. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by K-Seal. This is a great product. You can stop the unexpected cooling system leaks before it stops you, and you can find K-Seal at auto parts stores nationwide like AutoZone. You can check the store website for hours and shipping information. And remember, if you have a cooling system leak in your automobile engine, don't seal it. Don't just seal it. K-Seal it. For more information, go to saykseal.com. Your calls when I come back. Folks, you should always carry a pair of jumper cables in your car, and make sure you know which terminal of the battery is positive, which is red, and which terminal is negative, which is black. So hook the black cable to the black terminal and hook the red cable to the red terminal on the good car and bad car. And make sure you park your cars close together so that your cables can reach. For detailed information about how to do this, go to autobatteries.com, courtesy of Clarius. At autobatteries.com, you'll also find information about recycling, technology, testing, and maintenance. That's autobatteries.com, courtesy of Clarius.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has everything you need for summer car maintenance, and our professional parts people can help you find the best oil change supplies for your car. Get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $28.99, plus a $7 gift card after mail-in rebate. For your summer oil change, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You've heard me talk about Motorrad's leading the way with automotive thermostats, fuel, oil, and coolant caps. Now, Motorrad's using their expertise in Tier 1 OEM facilities to deliver advanced engine management solutions. Products like camshaft and crankshaft sensors, ignition coils, mass airflow sensors, even variable valve timing solenoids. And Motorrad's aftermarket products are designed and manufactured to meet or exceed original equipment specifications. Learn more about Motorrad products and industry-leading application coverage at Motorrad.com.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another lending success story from LendingTree.com.
Car dealers like playing games. They play percentage points, they play markups, but I don't like playing with my money. So I got my auto loan through LendingTree.com. I filled out one simple form, a marketplace of banks and lenders competed over it, and I got 4 offers back within hours. After all, the car buying game is a lot easier to win when you're holding all the cards.
LendingTree.com. When banks compete, you win. For additional information and state license disclosures, please visit our website located at LendingTree.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We just put 1 hour in the books, and we're in the second hour of today's broadcast. For those of you who cannot get us on your local AM and or FM radio stations, go to watchbobbylive.com, and there's a chat room there. We just have a lot of people that from all over the globe. One gentleman from down under that calls occasionally, Frank, and he's really a joy to talk with on the air. And if for some reason you missed today's broadcast, you can always go to iTunes and subscribe. In addition to radio AM and FM stations and Watch Bobby Live, we're on CastBox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, the list goes on and on and on. And I would ask that when you get a chance, you go to Facebook and like us, Likis, that's Bobby Likis, just like us, and also follow us on Twitter. Having said that, Recently, in fact, first hour, we had the caller from Daytona, the motorsports director for WNDB 1150 AM, our 28-year partner affiliate. One of our first of the 4 that we started with in affiliates in the United States was in Daytona Beach, and we still have that same WNDB station now. So I was called, and Terry Sabiston, the motorsports director, called because he had watched yesterday on Bring a Trailer where we had, and I had auctioned my car, which was a really significant milestone in my life. Well, to that end, I've invited neatest guy, 2 guys, actually 2 gentlemen in Connecticut. The gentleman that actually purchased my car and won the bid was Mike Brown, and Mike is on the queue. And so let's welcome Mike Brown. Mike, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Good morning, Bobby. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let me ask you to hold there because I have a surprise for you. My cousin, Jan Lechman, lives in Tallahassee, Florida, sold his multiple computer companies 5 years ago. He's the gentleman that I bought this car from when he ordered the big brother, the Turbo. He actually is going to be here when you come to Pensacola to pick up the car. In the meantime, he's joining us on the air. So I want to welcome Jan Lechman. Jan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Bobby. How are you doing? And thanks for having, let me in, let me join you guys. Looking forward to meeting Mike. He's got to be a great guy. He bought a great car.
Well, I thank you. And so Mike, to that end, how did you find Bring a Trailer? Because you told me when we talked after the fact yesterday that you never bought a car online. How did you find Bring a Trailer? And then what led you to look at my car? Only because it's gorgeous, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, the story is probably like most people in my situation. I had been overly obsessing about a car like this for a long time, and I had recently relocated, and I happened to be driving on my day-to-day commute to work. There's a Porsche mechanic shop who deals mostly in Porsches, and I had, stopped in there one Saturday morning because there was a Cars and Coffee event. I see the car, so I stopped in. And in conversation with one of the car owners, I said, I've been wanting a car like this. I've been thinking about it, obsessing, looking, but I just don't know where to go to really find one because they just seem to be, unfortunately, you don't see them parked on the side of the road anymore. And he said, you should go look at Bring a Trailer, and there's a lot on there. And that's really how I got connected with Bring a Trailer. And so I was a new member, had just signed up and said, okay, I'm going to start this search maybe officially. I don't even know how serious I was. And I looked at a few cars, and yours happened to then come up, and it was just immediate attraction. It was, what I really wanted in terms of what it had. So that's how I found the car.
Well, it was so very interesting, and folks, and Jan, Mike had sent to me offline in the 7 days of listing of Bring a Trailer several emails, and we exchanged emails, and I love the questions that you asked, Mike. And at the very end of a multiple, that rather lengthy email that you sent, you asked me, well, and Jan, you'll appreciate this. You asked me, well, if you bought this car, what would you do aesthetically to it, and then what would you do mechanically to it? And so, what prompted you to ask those questions, Mike?
Probably this being my first time to buy something sight unseen, and so again, that was just for me a little bit out of character for me. And you had presented the car so well. And, although I think I'm an optimist, there's always a little doubt. There's a tinge of doubt. I'm like, boy, this car just seems too good to be true. It's not only what I want in a car, but, boy, how meticulous it appears to be cared for. And everything that you had been describing and posting about the car and comments that other commenters were making regarding the car, those even who had seen it or been in the car and who personally knew you, I'm like, boy, this just is too good to be true. So I couldn't really find a fault per se. And again, I have very limited knowledge, let's say, particularly about a Porsche in some respects. So I asked general questions, as you know, But then it was just, okay, what would you do if Bobby is this particular about his car and meticulous? There's got to be something. What is it? What's wrong with this car? There must be something. And I think the answers you gave me were probably what I expected, and they were really right on, which is just there's not much to do to this car. Just love it and drive it and go from there.
So let's shift gears.
Bobby, can I make a real quick comment on that, please?
Yeah, do, Jan.
All right, thank you. Quickly, this is amazing because that is so parallel to what I thought when I first saw the car. I was driving home one day from work, and the car was sitting in a parking lot right at the edge of the street with a lady sitting in a little folding chair with a for sale sign on it. And, I mean, it caught my eye instantly. I wheeled in there. I could not believe the car even then. Of course, it was practically brand new, but the point is, why would you be selling a car this perfect? What's wrong? You know, why is this person selling this car? Well, I got to know the guy, and he was a bit of a car nut, and he had a bunch of different cars. But anyway, Mike, I'm telling you, a lot of that is so parallel to what I thought when I first saw the car, too. Incredible. And you will not be disappointed. I got to tell you, I love the car.
Well,
I'm really excited.
Thank you both. And so Jan and Mike, the vehicle. Just a quick story, Mike, and folks don't know this, and I won't go into the lengthy, but Porsche in 1980 through 1985 officially imported 0 turbo cars. And there's a story behind that I won't share because I don't know the origin of it, but it has to do with someone that got actually lost his life driving an earlier 79-ish or 78 turbo that would come on. The turbo would come on and it would explode, and the car would just jump out from under you. And that's why the cars have such big fat fenders on the turbo and bigger tires on the rear, because the engine is cantilever over the axle. So the front of the car is light and the back of the car is heavy, but the back of the car will come around. Well, having said that, so Jan bought this car from the original owner, and Jan, if I remember the story, the original purchaser kept it in a warehouse and had never driven it in the rain. Was that correct?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. The car had never been in the rain. You had mentioned 2,800. I thought it was 1,700 miles when I got it, but at any rate, it was little to no mileage whatsoever, and the car was absolutely perfect, as I can see it is right now from all the pictures I've seen, what you've done to the car. Well, Mike, I wanted the car, but I had no place to put it now. I still have the turbo, and to be honest with you, I thought seriously about selling my turbo and buying this car back. The car is just, it's a thing of beauty. You're going to love it.
Well, thank you, Jan, and don't go away. And Mike, to that end, so in 1986, when Porsche came back out with the turbos, Jan ordered the turbo, and I said, well, what color are you going to order? And I never even thought about buying the Wysock. And he said, well, I love this same color, and the color is drop dead gorgeous. They call it Swartz Metallic Black, but it's not black. It is deep dark anthracite. And so Jan said, I'm going to order the same Wysock combination. I said, including the Doric Gray, which is tan leather? He said, yeah. I said, well, I'll make a suggestion. And Jan said, well, sure. I said, I would order Mercedes-Benz Dove Gray leathers, which would be a better combination with the deep dark anthracite. And Jan did that. And so his turbo... Yep. It has Mercedes-Benz leather, and Jan, if I remember, it took 9 months for you for that car to come in, if my memory serves me.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Sure did. I ordered it in November and got it in August.
Well, look, gentlemen,
December and August.
If you don't mind, stay right there, both of you. And folks, we're going to come back and finish the rest of the story. And thank you so much for listening. And please call in 888-227-2546 if you have a question for either of the three of us. Spring has sprung, and with COVID-19 center stage, it's never been more important to be car care aware. The Car Care Council reminds you that April is National Car Care Month. Here are a few things you should consider as you prepare for the months ahead. April showers can bring hazardous driving conditions with slick, wet roads. It's a great time to make sure your brakes, tires, and windshield wipers are ready for the rain. Talking specifically about your brakes, how can you tell something's wrong? There are a number of signs. If your brakes are spongy or squealing, or if you can't stop without pumping, or other indicators include your car pulling to one side when stopping, your brake pedal sitting lower than normal, and your brakes requiring excessive pressure or grabbing with the least amount of pressure. Any of these symptoms mean you likely need your brakes inspected. For more great tips, videos, and recommended service schedules, visit carcare.org. And while you're there, order a free copy of the Car Care Guide for your glove box. That's carcare.org. Vehicle reliability is always important, but now more than ever, your car or truck needs to start, run, and run well. Berryman and their family of products is here to help you maintain your vehicle, whether you're still commuting for an essential job or it's an occasional trip to the grocery or the pharmacy. Berryman B12 Chem Tool with Hest technology is a perfect pour-in solution which helps break down carbon deposits that may form while the vehicle is sitting and helps disperse moisture and dissolve gum and varnish. And Berryman's 4-step professional air and fuel system management kit improves hard starting, rough idle, poor fuel economy, and overall drivability. And Berryman's B60 high mileage oil system rejuvenator cleans and protects the crankcase and engine oil system of all gas-powered vehicles, including those exceeding 60,000 miles. Since 1918, Berryman has been here to help consumers and repair shops alike. More information? Go to berrymanproducts.com. That's berrymanproducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Telephone
From Geico Auto Insurance.
When calling Geico to switch your car insurance, you will not need acetaminophen, naproxen, indomethacin, ibuprofen, a cold compress, an on-call acupuncturist, or any other pain remedy. In 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more. If it were any more painless, you could do it in your sleep, which is theoretically possible since we offer complete 24-hour service. Call 1-800-947-AUTO, 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
When you purchase the latest TV, tablet, or smartphone, don't forget to do the right thing with your old ones. Recycle them. The Consumer Technology Association and its members are making recycling your old devices as easy as buying new ones. Just go to greenergadgets.org, type in your zip code, and you'll instantly find the recycling location closest to your home. You'll also find recycling tips, like asking the store where you buy your new TV if they'll haul away your old one. Don't let your old tech tools clog your local landfill. Just visit greenergadgets.org.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Every Saturday from 10 till noon Eastern Time, we come to you from the center of the automotive universe. So for all of those of you who are tuned in who have thought about buying a used car, we have a special event, a first ever in the 28 years that I've hosted Bobby Likis Car Clinic. On the line with us is Mike from Connecticut, not Kentucky, from Connecticut, who just purchased my 1980 Porsche Weissach that I've owned for 35 years. On another line with us is Jan from Tallahassee, Florida, who bought the car with 1,700 miles on it from the original purchaser. And so this is history in the making. So I want to thank Jan, you, and especially, and Mike, you, my newfound friend. So, Mike, I want to go back to you and ask you, what were your feelings toward the end of the auction when the auction numbers kept bumping up, and with 2 minutes left to go or 30 seconds when a new bid would come in, they put 2 more minutes back on the clock. What were your thoughts at that time? Like, well, this is how long is this going to go on? Share with us that.
Well, definitely yes. And I think, knowing myself, before the auction, I knew when it was going to get busy, and I was, I really for the week was looking at other auctions to better understand the process and what people were doing. So I was probably a little overthinking it, but I was coming up with numbers in my head. What would Bobby? I know he's got a reserve on this car. What is that number? And I had a couple numbers, mathematically worked out. Like, I don't know, and do I want to go that high? Does it make sense? And again, I talked to a friend, that has a Porsche. He's like, none of it makes sense. What you're wanting to buy doesn't make sense, so you can't look at the dollars that way. It's what you want. You need to just pursue it. But as they started jumping, I thought the bidding, Bobby, would be higher sooner than it was. But I knew inevitably that it's because there's people like myself that were hiding in the background saying they're going to come in those last 10 minutes and it's just going to start to pop. And then it did. And so I did expect it. I really didn't know where it would go. And I'm not sure, where, I think I know you said you had a number in mind where you needed the car to be and where its value was. I don't know if you thought, was it ever going to get there? But it didn't surprise me in a way.
Well, I did have a number, and it exceeded my number, but but not by a lot. The bottom line, my concern was that it exploded the first day on the site, and then it had about a 5-day lull. And I reached out to bring a trailer, and I said, what's up with this? And they said, well, it's just normal that they kind of, folks, look. And we had, as I remember, 16,000 views. And normally the end result after 7 days is 10,000 views. So that was a real plus. And then we had 1,288 watchers, which means people that tick that watch button so that whenever someone bids or makes a comment, you're notified that happens. And so it was a very interesting day for me. And Jan, I understand that were you tuned in and were you watching the auction at the same time?
I was watching it off and on, Bobby. Unfortunately, yesterday afternoon I was driving over here. I'm at the beach house now, so I missed the very latter part of it. And then just hit me later after I got here, let's see what it is, and I saw that it sold. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see the very last part of the bidding.
Well, it was gut-wrenching. I mean, it was unbelievable that we had so many people. and as I said before, my brother Kerry in Birmingham was watching it, and he'd text me, "What is this clock? They keep putting 2 minutes back on the clock." So, having said that, Jan, I sure thank you, and hugs to Barbara. My cousin, and I really I'm just delighted that things have worked out so well. And I will say this, Mike and Jan, and everyone tuned in. Yesterday, Diane told me when the lull was going on, she says, I just want you to know, and she's very structured. She was with IBM for 8 years, and she's a corporate person. She said, I just want you to know that everything that you've done by the book and as you should do and as you wanted to do. So if this car doesn't reach your sale, it doesn't sell, then we'll keep it. It'd be okay with me, which I was prepared to do that. And she says, but I want you to know that it's not anything that you did or did not do correctly. You did it all correctly. So the culmination, it's the final results that, it's who wins on the Super Bowl, who came in second. It's always the first. So the final result was that, Mike, you're going to, I can't wait till you see the car because you haven't seen anything yet. Jan's right. This car's drop dead gorgeous, and you can reach through the window and turn the key and boom, and it fires up, and it does, Jan. It runs actually better now than when I bought it from you because I put new air box in and what have you. And so we could talk all day, and I won't because I've got other calls at Margaret from New York. But Mike, I sincerely can't wait till you come to Pensacola, Florida, to meet me and Diane and pick up the car. And Jan, if that fits your schedule, and Mike, we'll work that together. I'd love for you to come over, you and Barbara to come over, and it would be like a family reunion. And Mike, you'd be welcome to our family.
Oh, well, I appreciate that very much, Bobby. And again, thank you for everything through the process. It was a really pleasant experience for me. I'm excited to see the car, and I really look forward to meeting you in person.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And Jan, thank you very much. And gentlemen, have a great weekend, and we'll meet again soon.
Thanks, Bobby. Look forward to it, bud. Take care.
Thanks.
Best of luck with it, Mike.
Thanks. So folks, thank you for your time and allowing me to share with you something very personal to me. 35 years I kept that car, and now I feel like I haven't lost it. So that's great. Let's go to New York. Margaret, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Sure, thank you for holding.
Hello,
Hello.
Bobby. On the 11th of July on your program, you said you are not a fan of CDT or CBT chemicals in the transmissions of Toyotas, but you said you could change your mind and to stay tuned next week for why. And I'm used car shopping, and I wondered if I should be concerned about this.
If any vehicle that Toyota puts on the market is safe to buy, used or new. Having said that, any used Nissan with a CVT, constant variable transmission, is a car to stay away from. Now, Nissan obviously went through, as all manufacturers do, the doldrums of having a new design for them. It was not a new design, it's old, it's 50 years old, but having a new vehicle component, a master component, which is the transmission, which transmits all the power to the road. So yes, they did have some issues, but I can't help but remember all of the failures and all the used cars that came to me with CVT transmissions that had problems. And then even today, the protocol is to change the fluid, and it's a special fluid only for CVT transmissions. Even today, with today's technology, which I admire and I admit is superior to what it was last week. It just keeps getting better and better and better. They say they don't make cars the way they used to. That's right. They make them a heck of a lot better. Having said that, I would have no reservations if you bought a Toyota product. But Nissan would have to prove to me that they've gotten over their, and I'd have to say that they would have by now. I just tell you this, I'm not a fan of the CVT transmission because the controller for the pulleys that make up the drive components of a variable transmission responds to the throttle opening, that'll be the driver input, the road load, the load of the car, whether you're going up a hill or down a hill, and the RPM of the engine, and all those factors. And so it would be like you, think, Margaret, let me simplify it. Think about driving, think about riding a bicycle. You put it in first gear, and you accelerate or move off the stop, and then you go to second gear and third. And I look at John, because John rides a bicycle to the studio every morning. So you drive. Well, you wouldn't go from first to second and then go to 10th speed, because your legs would go, ooh, wow, this is really, okay. So to that end, what if you had an infinite ratio of gears, and you had no first, second, third, fourth, fifth, but you had 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, like updates on the computers. What if the gear ratio was so infinite that it was variable, and it could be anything at any time depending on your throttle position? So in essence, you would never get that first, second, third, you would never get that feel. You would only hear this engine going, and the car would accelerate, and you wouldn't feel any torque in the seat of the pants until you backed off, and then it would kick into a higher ratio. So that's my qualm about a variable transmission. It has no character. It has no pizzazz. It has no, and it feels like it's slipping a lot. And yet I have to say this, and with all due respect, years ago, a friend of mine, Harry Schwartz, brilliant person, was making magnesium bodies for Don Gartlett's, the king of drag racing, for his rails. And Don Gartlett's was the first person that ever put a body on a rail, one of those top fuel rails. And he did it for another reason. People thought it was aerodynamics, but it wasn't. My friend was building those cars, so he had a personal connection with Don. I called Don when I found out about the CVT transmission. It was called a man transmission at the time. This has been 25 years ago. I called him, and the first question, I said, this is infinite variable transmission that you can put your power to the drag strip as the vehicle would, as the tires would take it, which is the trick, because you always got more power than you can put to the ground. He said, the first question, well, can it take 4,000 horsepower? Well, that ended that conversation. So I didn't. But anyway, the bottom line, Margaret, if you want to buy a Toyota, don't let my comments about the CVT transmission give you any pause. Buy it.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes, I've been writing as you speak, and I appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I thank you. Be safe. So there you go, folks. So with my Porsche, I'm going to give Mike I have an Optima, which is a digital 400 microcomputer charger that I leave 24/7 hooked to the vehicle. He doesn't know that, but I'm going to give it to him. And that Optima is a company of Clarios. And Clarios, 1 out of every 3 batteries in the world is a Clarios battery. Great company, great partner, and your calls when I come back at 888 Car Clinic. Spring has sprung and summer's around the corner. We're all hoping for a return to some normalcy, which means road trips to the beach, the lake, grandma's house, and other favorite vacation spots. A little preventive vehicle maintenance now will help you avoid trouble ahead. Visit carcare.org to find out how you can best keep your vehicle safe, dependable, and roadworthy. While you're there, order your copy of the free Car Care Guide for your glove box. Go to carcare.org. That's carcare.org. You've heard me talk about using PB Blaster for breaking free rusted parts. Well, now, with a Blaster Pro Straw, it's even better. But that's just one of the specially formulated products from the Blaster Corporation to fix, loosen, lubricate, penetrate, and conquer each job. There's Multimax synthetic lubricant, garage door lubricant, white lithium grease, and much more. So don't bust your knuckles, bust nuts with PB Blaster. Available at home, auto, or hardware store near you. Always use Blaster products and work it like a pro.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She too was surviving kidney disease. And she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now, you know.
We're a land of cynics. We don't believe anything anymore. You know why? Because we've been told we've won $1 million, that it's new and improved, that it slices and dices, that our favorite singer is still alive, that we'll be prosecuted if we cut off the tags, and of course that everything is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So when we hear the words customer service, we don't believe it. Travelocity isn't surprised if you're a little skeptical when they say they have excellent customer service, and that there's actually a pleasant face behind this website, a living, breathing person with a supercharged computer full of answers. Someone who's willing to help when you get lost, and most of all, someone that will actually pick up the phone when you call with a question or a concern. Customer service is just another example of how Travelocity puts you in control of travel. Chances are you'll never have to use it, but it's good to know it'll be there if you need it. Travelocity.com. Go virtually anywhere.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to today's broadcast. It has been a fantastic first hour and then the most of this second hour of today's Bobby Likis Car Clinic videocast on Watch Bobby Live. It's a special event for me, as you know if you've been listening. I did let go is a great word, of my 35-year owned Porsche Classic car. That meant so much to me. And about 11 months ago, I started to prepare the car for auction. And I would go out and look at it and drive it. And I said, well, what is it? One of the things that didn't work on it was when you pull back on the turn signal lever, that's the flash to pass. And that's also, in addition to being the turn signal lever, it's the high-low click-click event. But you can flash to pass, and that part didn't work. Occasionally, it worked, but it was erratic. And so I decided that, okay, I'm going to replace the flash to pass. Well, that's part of the complete multi-function switch. I had to take the column apart and what have you. And in the event that I did that, I knocked the emergency flasher switch apart, and so I had to replace that as well. And then I decided to put a new ignition switch and cylinder lock assembly. So one thing led to another. But I said all that to say this, because there was a comment, and I wish I had that in front of me right now. There was a comment that a gentleman made on the Bring a Trailer yesterday, and he talked about classic cars. He said you can't look at buying a classic car. I think this is what Mike was referring to, John and Jonathan. You can't buy a classic car with dollars or look at it for an investment. You have to look at it because classic cars are old and they require special attention. There are always updates that you can replace a part on a car that's like mine, 40 years old, and the part you buy today is better than the part that was made 40 years ago. Even if it's made by the same company, the machinery is better today than it was 40 years ago. And so almost without exception, a restored or refurbished, and my car was a little of both, vehicle is superior to that car when that car was new. And I give you a prime example. All 911 air-cooled flat six engines needed cylinder studs because the cylinder studs would corrode and they would separate. And that happened to my car, and the thread, the studs that I replaced, all 24 of them, were called full thread. And the full thread was a larger diameter thread body because the original Delvar studs that the car came with had a slender body and fat threads, and the slender body would be spongy because the aluminum engine expands. And so you have to have, in new cars these days, when you do a head gasket job, you replace the head bolts because engines are made of aluminum, and the engine will grow 1/8 of an inch or 100,000ths easy. So you got to have the head that will stretch the bolts, and then the bolts will still be tight when the engine is cold. So all of those things come into play. So at every juncture, when I would place a part on that car, I would do my research, which I'm anal about things like that when it comes to automobiles, as if you didn't know, and I would make the car better than it was before. And so my car that Mike bought is better than it was when Porsche made it in 1980. And I'm proud of that. So, if you'd like to look at it, Jonathan, let's put that slideshow back up. And so we're going to put on Watch Bobby Live pictures of the car. And if for some reason that you don't have a chance and you'd like to know what it sold for, and I'd love for you to read the comments, you can go to bringatrailer.com. That's bringatrailer.com, and look for in the results, it says 35-year owned Porsche Weissach, 1980. But just look for 35-year owned Porsche Weissach, Weissc. You can find it. And look in the results on bringatrailer.com and just look at the comments that were made about the car and about me too. I would say I'm embarrassed, but I feel like I've earned those comments. But it sure is great when somebody gives you an acknowledgement and is positive. And I love positive. I love positive thoughts. Let's go to Dayton. Dayton, Ohio. I can tell you stories about Dayton, Ohio, and I will tell you this. Henry, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Thank you, Bobby. You got a beautiful car on the. I went on the website and saw it. It's a really good-looking car.
Well, thank you. And to that end, one thing that I want to say, a dear friend of mine owns Seville Quarter, and also the District, which is the best steakhouse in Pensacola, Wilmer Mitchell. Wilbur drives a Jaguar, and we put on his Jaguar a set of Dayton wire wheels made right there in Dayton, Ohio.
I hear you. I bet if it looks anywhere like yours, he's got a good-looking car.
It's a beautiful car. It's burgundy with the old-fashioned gold crown, white and gold striped tires that we had to order special, and the Dayton wire wheels. And it is quite a beautiful car. And I'll tell you, he's a fine fellow, and all of his children and Nettie's children, they're young people and middle-aged people now, do a whale of a job in operating a 5-building complex called Seville Quarter. And if you ever come to Pensacola, Florida, there's two places. You got three or four, but I'll mention two. Naval Air Station. Pensacola Naval Air Station has the second largest naval aviation museum in the world. You must go there, number one. Number two, Seville Quarter. And right across the street is the new, a year old now, the District, which is a steakhouse that is in a renovated 140-year-old building. And it's quite the district, and it's quite the historical district. So Henry, your call, how can I help you? And thank you for letting me share that.
Yes. I called you last week about the Toyota Tundra that was shimmying. What I didn't get to finish telling you is I can pull it over on the side of the road and it'll stop. And I start back driving, I might go 200, maybe 300 miles, and it won't do it again. And for no reason, it starts right back, and I have to pull over on the side of the road again.
Well, that's because of the road and the terrain and the right speed, and probably if you'll think back, and I know that you don't necessarily, when things happen to cars, you don't think, well, what was I doing? I mean, in other words, let me give you an example. Where were you when Kennedy was shot? Well, we all, except for the two young men in the studio there, control room, where were we when Kennedy was shot? We all remember that. Well, where were you when you had your last flat tire? Oh, gosh, I may remember that. Where were you when you ran out of gas last? But where were you on the road, and at what speed, and what temperature? Was it raining? Was it dry? Where were you when it last happened? And if you will, in your mind, the next time it happens, remember the topo, remember the topography of the highway, remember the speed at which you were going, remember what you were doing or not doing when it started. If you can, the reason I bring this up is because, Henry, if you can duplicate this with a mechanic in the car, in the Tundra, then it'll save you $100 in diagnostic labor, because you can take him for a ride and go out there and let me show you what this does, because you know where to make it happen. You understand where I'm going?
Yeah, I do. But let me ask you about one possibility.
Okay.
My son had borrowed the truck, and one of the tires went down, and he was at a place where he couldn't do anything hardly, so he run into a parts house and grabbed some of that green slime or something, put in it.
Right.
Now, when they changed the tire on the front, I don't think they've cleaned all that out. Could that be a possibility to be causing it?
No, because if it were causing it, and slime is a good product, if it were causing it, you wouldn't go 200 miles. If that were the cause, it wouldn't come and go. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And furthermore, if you did have something that was a liquid, like slime is, a gooey liquid, if you did have that to puddle inside the vehicle, every time you parked the car and then you took off, it would be out of balance and it would wobble. So there's more to that than meets the eye. And the fact that you went, like you said, 200 miles, here's what I would suggest. Number one, next time it happens, make a mental note of where you were going, what speed, and also something else. If you're traveling, say 50 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, and you hit a bump and it starts to shake, then you should be able to replicate that and that's what
Okay.
you need to do. And in the meantime, have you had it inspected by a front end or by a service shop?
No, it had all that stuff right before I bought it. The guy that first purchased the truck, I mean, he kept it in immaculate shape, and he had all that taken care of and rebuilt and everything from the Toyota place in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right.
And so I figured, it was all good. I mean, it is tight right now as it was the day it rolled off the lot. It
Gotcha.
don't have a rattle in the truck nowhere.
Right.
I mean,
right.
So I just figured, like you was talking, maybe that a clump of that stuff was in the truck, and you hit a bump and it started it. So I was just guessing,
Well, but let's and I'm with you, but here's what I recommend, just for grins. Even though in your mind you think all this stuff is new and was replaced, all of it could not have been replaced because it wouldn't all be bad. So there may be one little component that still, maybe it passed muster during the previous owner's shop visit. Maybe it was loose, but the technician that looked at it says, "Well, I can condemn this part. I can condemn this part. That part's a little iffy, but you can't make the vehicle new." And so here's what I recommend: because we don't know the history really, we only know what we have been told. I really suggest that you go in, because there could be something so simple as a tie rod end that is loose, and somebody says, "Well, hey, let me show you this." So what I want you to do is, I want you to go to a shop, a certified shop, a full shop, and not a tire shop. Do not go to a tire shop. They're not in repair. They sell tires.
Yeah.
So go to a certified automotive shop and put it on. All right, and put it on a lift. And you want the technician to, with his hand, physically move each wheel left and right while they're looking at the suspension linkage, and then it may be self-evident. But that's what I would recommend that you do. You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And one thing before you go, what kind of balancing was that you told me I need to get done? It's
road force.
Kind of special.
Road force.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate it, Bobby.
Appreciate you. Yeah, thanks. Stay tuned. And stay safe. Stay safe. It's sort of like today's, the new today. Stay safe. The mantra. Yeah, thank you, John. So the mantra, stay safe. Speaking of that, I think now is a great opportunity for us to share with you what our partners, O'Reilly Auto Parts, have to say about being safe.
As we navigate the COVID-19 crisis, O'Reilly Auto Parts is dedicated to serving you. We've been deemed an essential business, so our doors will stay open. We encourage you to buy online, then pick up curbside. Together, we're committed to getting through this.
And that's a fantastic message from O'Reilly Auto Parts. And you can order parts. You can go to O'ReillyAuto.com, O'ReillyAuto.com, and look around and order what you want. And if you spend $35, which is sort of easy to do when you're buying parts for your car, they'll deliver them free of charge. And if you want to go pick them up, they'll bring them out to the car. So social distancing, customized service, the whole lot. So stay safe and visit O'ReillyAuto.com. Folks, I really want to say this, and in the short period of time that I have left on this program. What a great week it's been. Yesterday was a very exciting day for me. I was the guest yesterday of Mark Bernier. Mark Bernier is an icon in Daytona Beach and in the nation with his interviews and his dialogue with individuals that are on the air. Yesterday, I was invited to be on Mark's broadcast, and this was at the end of the auction time, relevantly to, Anyway, so I joined him, and I had an opportunity to reach out to a lot of folks there that we know in Daytona and Ormond Beach. And so I want to take this opportunity again to thank Mark Bernier, because he served only like 2 months as PD, Program Director for WNDB 28 years ago. And I know he did a lot right, because he said, let's put your show on WNDB. And WNDB was one of 4 stations in 2 states that I was started out with 28 years ago, and we're still there today. So hats off, and thank you, Mark, for having me as a guest. And you made a great decision 28 years ago, obviously. And I'm going to make the decision now to invite you to next week. Why? Because I'm out of time. I'm Bobby Likis, your host. Like us, you'll love us. Have a great day.
This is Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Insurance 101, courtesy of Grundy Insurance. What is a total loss? When a vehicle's damage is determined irreparable, or when the repair cost exceeds a certain percentage of the vehicle's insured value. There are several factors to consider, like damage that affects vehicle safety and lack of availability for specific parts. Grundy works with car collectors to prevent unnecessary total loss situations by providing agreed value insurance and offering the flexibility to adjust the insured value of your vehicle annually. Learn more about Insurance 101 at Grundy.com. That's Grundy.com. Folks, COVID-19's temporarily changed our everyday lives, and while many people are staying home, there's still plenty of people who depend on their vehicles to go to work. And even those at home need to get to the grocery store and pharmacy. Your vehicle's reliability has never been more important. Berryman Products is committed to providing the products needed to help maintain your vehicle, like the Berryman's Intake Valve and Combustion Chamber Cleaner Kit, which helps to restore power and remove economy-robbing carbon. Learn more at BerrymanProducts.com. That's BerrymanProducts.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Rosie Outfitters, I'm Tina. How can I help you?
I'd like to place an order.
Great. Which item?
The cotton roll neck sweater, large.
Okay. Periwinkle, Loden, or caramel?
The caramel, please.
The what?
I'd like it in caramel.
Oh, the caramel?
Yeah, that's what I said, Tina.
Actually, you said caramel when it's pronounced caramel.
Can't we just call it yellow?
No.
Everyone knows the best part of a Milky Way. They just don't know how to say it. After all, it's our caramel.
It's caramel.
Ugh, that makes a Milky Way great.
You start my morning, you stir in my soul, you warm my heart, make me feel whole. Your aroma calls me, starts my morning, happy morning. Your name is Folgers Mountain Grown.